Restaurant industry is a super complicated industry that gets a little piece of every single person to be able to work. So thank you for supporting us, and we need your help.
Resiliency is survival.
Follow everything that we're trying to do to get every single business in the state of Maine open.
By supporting us, you support the future, you support our employees. Thanks.
Of Sunday Supper. I am your host, Sarah Taylor Whelans. On behalf of my Maine Studios team and our partners at New Center Maine and Hospitality Maine, thank you for joining us. A quick note that a dear partner of ours, Eric Baxter, passed away during the development stage of this program, and we are dedicating this episode to him. More on that later. But again, thank you for joining us for the Maine Summer Classics kickoff episode of Sunday Supper. You can find information on this and the Re-Up Maine program at tastemaine.com. Hopefully some of you have gone there already to check out the recipes, gotten your ingredients at Hannaford's, one of our leading sponsors ahead of time, and are ready to cook along. But first, a quick reminder of why we're all here tonight. This program is aimed to raise $1 million over the next 5 months. That's 10 fun episodes of this Sunday Supper series. And this is all raising money for Maine's restaurant owners. No one needs a reminder about what we're all going through right now, but I will remind you that Maine's restaurant industry is a vital part of not only our state's economy, but a vital part of our spirit, and these people are no minor exception to people that are suffering and facing challenges against the pandemic. So we want to revitalize Maine and bring back all those restaurants you love to eat at, the chefs you want to support, those places you love to head out on a Friday night and enjoy. We are losing some of them, and we want to help as many of them reopen as possible. So tastemaine.com, you can donate to the fund right there. You can also find the recipes for every episode right there. And hopefully, again, if you wanted to cook along tonight, you've gone ahead and gotten those, gotten your ingredients, and you're ready to have some fun. So without further ado, let me introduce our main dish segment chefs, and that is David Turin from David's Restaurants right here in Portland and South Portland, and Chef Paolo Laboa of Solo Italiano right down on Commercial Street here. I am so excited to see what they're going to be cooking up for us. So, gentlemen, what have we got?
Hey, thank you, Sarah Taylor. So nice to be here. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, so I'm glad we're going to get to take these up. And I'll just say one thing to begin. Normally we're so close to each other, and now here we are. We're awkwardly apart. So my friend Paolo over there, we're going to cook with all these great Maine ingredients. Paolo, what are you making?
But tonight we're going to make just a very simple recipe with some gnocchi, with a potato gnocchi, and with a lobster sauce. But a lobster sauce, very simple, very, 5 minutes cooking is what it is. So, everybody home, they can do it.
Garden tomatoes, some onion, some fresh basil, a little bit of spicy pepper, some garlic, and of course more basil at the end, olive oil, and maybe I'll sneak a little maple syrup in when Paolo's not looking.
When I'm not looking, maybe, yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, again, tastemaine.com to give money to this fund, obviously, and just so you know, Paolo himself has applied for the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund on top of 173 other restaurants, covering restaurants in all 16 counties of Maine. So clearly we're just launching this show, and that's how much people have heard about it and have this need. So 174 restaurants, guys, we better help them out and raise some money.
Yeah, we've got to raise some money. We've got to raise some money.
Why is it important to you guys?
Well, this pandemic, as you said, everybody understands what it's all about. But the reality is, for restaurants, we are in a situation where the unknown is what's really frightening. We don't know if this is going to go on for a few weeks, a few months, or even terribly a year or longer. And so we're all in a situation where we're operating on a reduced footprint, which in the restaurant business is virtually impossible financially. So every restaurant is losing money or really going out of business. So it's very scary.
And the protection they give to us is almost, for example, for myself, for the restaurant, for Solo Italiano, is almost done. So we're in our, where to go with our power, and we'll see what is going to happen. We don't know what is going to happen really, especially in the winter. Now everybody feels busy, and in some way it's a summer, it's Maine, it's beautiful, but we'll see. Right. We need the help for sure.
And both these chefs, as you know, their restaurants are right here in the heart of Portland and South Portland, and obviously there's restaurants all over the state and even more rural areas that may not even be getting the summer tourism that we are here in Portland, right? And as they mentioned, we are blessed with beautiful summers in Maine where people want to eat outside, but winter is coming, folks, so there are going to be that many more challenges. Yeah.
Well, so do we get to cook?
Well, I think we
Let's
better
cook.
find out what we should drink along with this.
All right,
before we
well,
cook.
so let's talk to Kirk and Charlie.
Yeah.
So Kirk and Charlie up in Stockton Springs, they're making some beverages for us. So Charlie and Kirk, take it away.
Hi there, I'm Kirk Linder, and
I'm Charlie Zorich, and we're the owners of the Hichborn in Stockton Springs, about 15 minutes east of Belfast on your way to Acadia National Park.
and today we're going to make a Blueberry Sage Gimlet for you.
I think a gimlet's the perfect way to relax in the summertime with fresh Maine blueberries and sage from our garden, or you could pick up some Wyman's blueberries from Hannaford in the frozen section, which would work just fine.
So we're adding some fresh blueberries today and some sprigs of sage into the mixer, and we'll muddle that for just a few seconds.
And these recipes are available on tastemaine.com. Again, we're here to help raise some money to reopen Maine and restaurants. Maine has a wealth of fantastic food and people who love to serve it and make it, and we're hoping to help everyone reopen. This cocktail will go fantastic with David and Paolo's lobster and gnocchi dish. Perfect pairing, nice gin. The herbaceousness of the gin and the slight fruitiness of the sage should really pair wonderfully. And for kids or people that don't really dig the alcohol, you can do the same combination with in a tall glass topped with a bit of seltzer or sparkling water. And the recipe is available again on tastemaine.com.
We'll shake it up a little bit. And then we strain it over your coupe.
That looks delicious.
Delicious. You can garnish with another fresh piece of sage, and there you go.
Blueberry Sage Gimlet. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's send it back to you, Sarah Taylor, at the studio.
Oh, if only this were full of that gimlet now. Charlie and Kirk, that looks delicious. And yes, will be paired perfectly with the lobster and blueberry dinner that's being made to my right. Starting to smell really good in here, folks. So just to review, hopefully you've laid out all your incredible ingredients with fresh Maine lobster for the lobster and blueberry gnocchi dish, and that you've poured yourself that local Maine Blueberry Sage Gimlet. And add a little seltzer and make one for the kiddos too. Hopefully you're having some fun at home with the family tonight to do so. And just a reminder, please shoot us some questions for any of the chefs you see featured tonight. We'll get to as many of those as possible at the end of the episode. So just shoot us questions right there on Facebook Live, and again, we'll get to those towards the end. But we better make sure we figure out how to put all these lobsters and blueberries together for our dinner dish. So let me turn it back over to David and Paolo here in the studio and see what's going on with that recipe. Gentlemen.
We get to cook now? All right.
Yes.
I know, I jumped the gun
we're
before.
ready.
So listen, so the first thing, I'm gonna make a little blueberry basil butter. I got a little Kate's butter here. Some wild blueberries. It can actually work with some frozen blueberries if necessary, a little fresh basil, a little sea salt. And this is gonna go on some of Paolo's amazing, what do you guys make this every day? The sourdough.
Every day, sourdough.
It's
Yep.
amazing. It's amazing. And then while Paolo's making the gnocchi, I'm going to cook some lobsters. I'm going to make a little sauce with some tomatoes, some onions, some basil, some garlic, a little white wine, a little olive oil, and we're going to pull it all together in the end. So
Yes, exactly. So now you see, there is a many way to make a gnocchi. Who cook in the oven the potato, who boil it. In this case, we just boil the potato, very simple, with the salt water. And I mash in this case with a fork, but you have a mashed potato wherever. you make your, like a mashed potato like this, you know. And I need a touch of salt now, 1 egg, a little bit of nutmeg, flour, a touch of Parmigiano. I'm gonna do the gnocchi. Okay.
So even someone like me could make gnocchi.
Everybody
at home,
can make
chef?
gnocchi. Yes.
You know,
Everybody
Paolo
can
makes
make
it sound so easy. I've made gnocchi 1,000 times, and I've already learned more just talking to him about gnocchi and all the times I've ever
I
made
am
it.
blessed to work with a lot of chefs like yourselves and eat your lot of food, but I have to admit I am not the best home cook myself. So glad that this is an approachable recipe, guys.
So my first little part of this episode right here, I've got some, this is some really, really super soft. I just had this butter sitting out for a while. I've got some Maine wild blueberries. And this recipe is on the tastemaine.com site. And there's some quantities, but honestly, it's not really that vital. So I've just got some blueberries. This is a little Maine sea salt right here in my salt mill. And this is a little Maine maple syrup. And this is really, it's a little sweet, it's a little salty. I think the recipe says unsalted butter, but to be honest, I like mine a little salty, so I use salted butter. This is pretty good. So this is I think this thing is actually a bird bath. And I mean, but for this purpose, it's gonna be more like a mortar and pestle. So, a little more blueberry, and as you can see, the quantities are really, really important. That they're exactly right. So the thing is about blueberries is wild blueberries. I think anybody that's had them knows that they stay really plump and whole only for a couple of days, and then they get a little mushy and they get wet. And so having your blueberries that are a little wet at the end, there's nothing wrong with that here. So. This is really about it right there.
Just an exciting update while you guys are stirring and concocting over there. So we're, again, $1 million. We're hoping to raise over the 10 episodes of Sunday series between now and December, $1 million. So that's $10,000 per episode, right? And I have to tell you, very exciting. We have already raised $1,100 in private donations. Now, we have Hannaford supermarkets to thank for stepping up with $7,000 already. We have $3,000 from Bangor Savings Bank. So let's get to a $20,000 goal for this episode alone, and that's $10,000 from you guys. So again, we've already raised $1,100. That's $7,900 left to go. So let's see where we can get by the end of the hour, the end of the night. Be inspired. Cook your lobsters and blueberries, sip that gimlet, and remember why we're here. It's to support these chefs. It's to raise money for them. Go to tastemaine.com, donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, and revitalize all these restaurants. Sure, what a privilege, right? To be getting these recipes from incredible award-winning chefs left and right, but also what joy is there to going out to these restaurants, to the experience of being out and about. And again, fall and winter is coming. We want to make sure we can safely enjoy the experiences at these places, but they need funds to be able to reopen safely in the face of the pandemic. So, boys, let's wrap up this and then see what side would go best.
So
with it, right?
I've got a little olive oil going right here. And what I'm really doing is I'm trying to just use the bounty of our garden. And you can see I've got these beautiful tomatoes. These are heirlooms, but honestly, any tomato that comes out of anybody's garden is so sweet this time of year. So I've got a little onion, and you know, honestly, this recipe is super easy. I'm just gonna start with a little bit of olive oil. I want these onions not cut too small, and I'm gonna get these going before the garlic, and I'm really just gonna put these I've got these onions going into a little mise en place bowl here. A little bit of onion there. I think I want another half. And then I'm going to just crush that garlic, but I'm going to put it in a little bit later because the garlic can burn very easily, and I really don't want the garlic to burn. So I'm going to just start the onions, sweat those down a little bit, and I'm going to put basil in twice. Once here at the beginning and once at the end. And I also like to put a little salt in at the beginning and a little pepper in at the beginning, but the salt helps to release some of the moisture out of the onions, which is something I'm hoping to do. So now, I bet you at your house, you can turn your burner down low, but not so here. We can only go on high heat, so we're super fast in this stove. So don't do as I'm doing, do as I'm telling you. So lower heat, lower temperature is better to get these onions started, and we're going to cook those out. Paolo, what are you doing over there?
So I mix my gnocchi, my mashed potato with some flour. Me, I do by eyes, but with they already have the recipe online, so they can go check it out. And practically I put my Parmigiano, my eggs, my touch of nutmeg, a little bit more salt because we had the flour, so you know it has to be balanced. Now I do my thing like this, and I start to make my gnocchi.
Well, you make it look so easy, chef.
This is
Wait, this is it? That's it?
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
Never knew.
Well, honestly, so I've been doing it wrong all these years, but this is why we're here, right? So,
If only we all had a giant
The
chunk
kind of
Parmigiano.
flour we use is 00, but I'm pretty sure in the Hannaford market you can find all the things. No problem.
Okay.
so while he's
From
doing the
potato,
gnocchi,
from flour, for everything.
just going to show you, so these onions are a little translucent. I don't want them to get brown. I just want a little bit of translucence to the onions before, and now I've got this garlic, which I've really left very big. I could have just crushed it. I've got a little basil here. I'm going to put a little bit more there. And then I'm going to let that go, and then I'm just going to rough chop these tomatoes. I don't want them to be too small. I'm going to put all 4 of these tomatoes in there, braise these out, a little bit of white wine. And my lobsters are just about done. And so what I'm going to do with these is these are now done. I've got, let's see, where did I put it? Oh, I've got a little ice bath right here, and very elegant ice bath. And then I'm going to save some of that. So my lobsters are here, just in ice water. Chill those down. Oh, and what you want to do is make a mess of your kitchen. And I'm going to save some of this lobster water for later on. I think I'm done with that. All right. Paolo, don't trip on the ice I spilled on the floor. All right.
If I trip, it's going to be a disaster.
So what's this machine you got there?
No, this is a very old paddle. It's very simple. And I do, my shape the gnocchi like this in a way that the sauce, when I hit inside, stay inside. So when you eat, you enjoy more.
So show it again. Show it again. No, show how you make it.
Yeah, like this.
Oh.
With your finger.
Oh.
You see? And also all this stuff, the sauce stay nice and good.
Nice. So is this
Very
something
simple.
you would not only prepare at Solo Italiano, but at home with your family?
Yes, especially when my 2 kids, Evelina and Violet, they love making gnocchi with Papa.
Yeah.
They love it.
So, Paolo, in the restaurant, if you make gnocchi,
Yeah.
do you boil them in water to order, or do you boil them ahead of time?
So that's a good question. In a restaurant when we have a lot of people to serve, you boil it before, and you put it just in a tray with a touch of oil. You put it right away in a cooler, and that's it. And but when you cook, they really need a cook as a no cook. You know what I mean?
And is this recipe, I like to take my gnocchi and cook them in some brown butter and get them a little brown. Does this gnocchi work well for this?
They work. Yes.
Wow, that's a big yellow tomato. Look at that. I don't know if I'm going to get all these tomatoes in there. It's too much. Too much. Look at this tomato. It smells so good. Smell this one. Oh.
How many times have you guys had lobsters this summer? I know I've only had one.
I think a couple times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lucky.
You know, Sarah Taylor, I like lobsters, but I have to say my favorite way to eat lobster is in a lobster roll. I'd rather eat a lobster roll than lobster any other way.
Well, let's give
Except
some
for this
Maine
recipe,
restaurants
of
some
course.
love. What's your favorite lobster roll in the state of Maine? Where does that come from?
David's Restaurant, just saying.
Good
Oh, did I say
answer.
that out loud? Just David's Restaurant.
Sure.
Well, you know, I mean, I like my lobster
Is
roll.
that on your curbside menu?
It is on my curbside menu. Yeah, it is, actually. It's
All
pretty
right,
good.
well, go to tastemaine.com for this recipe specifically, but again, give money to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund if you want to get the Maine lobster roll from David's Restaurant. We need him to reopen fully in order to be able to do that. Again, that's the reason we are blessed with this opportunity to cook some recipes from incredible chefs from around the state, but let's let them cook for you again at their restaurants, and go to tastemaine.com to find out information how to help us do that.
So, you know, Sarah Taylor, I just want to tell you, I think people who are watching have seen Paolo and I and a lot of other chefs cooking on television, cooking on, you know, any kind of show. And the reality is that most of the time, that cooking is really about the cooking, and it's about the passion of the ingredients and everything like that. But make no mistake, the reality is that the reason we're here today, honestly, is this cooking is a backdrop for what's really going on in the world. And the restaurants are in peril, grave peril that I can't even really put words to. I've known a number of people who've closed up shop altogether. I have one of my 3 restaurants which is closed, possibly permanently. One of my restaurants can't open because it's just physically too small, and one of my restaurants is only able to do outside service. And that outside service is going to come to an end. The PPP loan, which was a great program, is coming to an end for a lot of people, like Paolo, next week.
Next week is finito for me.
This is a grave situation, and so we can't overstate how important it is to have people support us. And people have been very generous. They bought gift certificates when they thought maybe we couldn't even redeem them, but still, anything you can do to help, I can't even tell you how much we'd appreciate it. You can go to tastemaine.com and the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, and that's really why we're here. Although this food's going to be pretty good. Those gnocchis, I'm going to have a big bowl.
Smelling good.
Just saying.
And so that PPP, that did help you out a bit, but obviously nothing lasts forever, and with winter coming,
Yeah.
a whole new challenge to face, right guys?
Yeah, and it's hard to say. So everything we're hearing is that there's going to be another resurgence, and I think that Paolo has had a similar thing happen. But I've had weeks where as many as 5 of my staff has had to be tested and quarantined because they've been exposed to somebody. Fortunately, no one's gotten COVID yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But all of a sudden, I mean, I've only got 12 people back in my staff in Portland, and 5 of them are out in 1 week. It's very hard. So you don't know what's going to happen.
3 people this week, the same things.
Yeah.
And
so
you know, actually the scary part is if they found somebody positive, you have to close for a week at least and test everybody and see and make sure that everything is okay. You're gonna lose again.
You know, and people don't maybe understand so much, but in the restaurant business, everything is going all the time. So if you have to close for a week, all the product that you have to stop making, and it's very difficult. So, well, all right. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna start eating this pretty soon. And so who's up next in our show? We've got some lovely desserts being made
Well,
from.
first you better get to your side.
Oh,
The guys.
Oh, the guys. That's right. We didn't get the tart. That's right. The tartine. So let's go back to Kurt and Charlie up in Stockton Springs at the Hichborn, and let's see what they made to eat.
Today we're here to share another recipe. This is a blueberry, tomato, and basil tartine with some fresh local goat cheese from Frederickson Farmstead. All of these ingredients are available at your local Hannaford. So we've got some fresh tomato, some seedless cucumber, shallots, basil, blueberries, and some goat cheese from Frederickson Farmstead in China, Maine. This recipe is available at tastemaine.com. Again, this is all supporting the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. If you go to the website to download the recipe, there's a donate button. Please consider donating so that restaurateurs like ourselves can reopen and support our local Maine economy. All right, so for this tartine, it's really simple. I've got some toasted country style loaf, which is a sourdough loaf. Actually, this is a sourdough loaf I purchased from Hannaford, but you could use a baguette or any kind of bread really that you have around. And depending on when you're serving this goes great as a side to a meal, or you could serve it before as an appetizer. And so we're just gonna throw it together and see how it goes. So I've got my tomato, that's cucumber, my shallots. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons, and I'm eyeballing this, but at home you can measure.
He's a chef, so he can do that. He's allowed.
I've been doing this quite a while, so we've do this, and then we're going to add half of our basil, a little pepper, some sea salt, and then we're going to bring this together. And basically what you're doing is you're making a relish. And this relish could actually be served, again, as an appetizer. It's also a great accompaniment with grilled fish or pan-seared fish. It would be really nice with a chicken breast, even pork tenderloin. So I think it's a great way to highlight the season and the ingredients that are available right now in Maine. And our fresh blueberries. So we're gonna pull that together.
So this is a very easy recipe that even I can make. It's I'm not a chef by any means, but this is delicious and really easy to make. Anybody can do it.
So the relish is made, and now we're going to take our softened goat cheese. That's one thing I forgot to mention is you'll want to pull the goat cheese out probably about at least 30 minutes prior to making the recipe so that it's nice and soft and easily spreadable. And I've got some toasted bread here, nice crispy sourdough. And so we're going to spread the bread on there, or spread the goat cheese on there, and then we'll take a little bit of our relish and we'll just top it onto the toast. And then I've got a couple edible flowers here to garnish it with. So here we have our tomato, blueberry, and cucumber tartine with fresh Frederickson's Farms goat cheese. It'll pair wonderfully with the lobster and gnocchi that David and Paolo are doing over in the other studio.
Hey, welcome back to the studio. I was blessed to go up to Stockton Springs to the Hichborn and taste that tartine for myself. So if you folks have made that at home, lucky you. And of course, you can see how that will go great with the lobster and blueberry dinner that's being cooked up. Hopefully you've gone and gotten your local Maine lobsters. Go to Hannaford and get all those additional delicious ingredients. Homemade sourdough if you can get it, but don't worry, Hannaford has that too. And along with that, hopefully you're sipping along with a Blueberry Sage Gimlet. Remember, you can just use seltzer in that instead of Cold River vodka for the kiddos. But Cold River Vodka, another Maine supplier that is a distiller out of Freeport, Maine. So glad that everyone's using local ingredients. Obviously, those blueberries are local Maine blueberries. And again, all those delicious vegetables being used on their tartine, and Frederickson Farm, a local homestead to the gentleman up in Stockton Springs. So they're using a local farm for their goat cheese. All the better. We're here to support Maine. Of course, when you support a Maine restaurant, guess what? You're supporting their staff, and then you're supporting all the farmers, the fishermen, the purveyors that supply those restaurants with food. So really, this is about Maine's food and beverage industry as a whole. Help us by going to tastemaine.com, support the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, and help support all these great chefs, all the people that work for them, and all the people that supply them too. So again, hopefully you're cooking along, you've got your lobster and blueberry dinner cooking, you're tasting those tartines and you're sipping on those gimlets, but what Maine Classics meal would not be complete without a dessert? So we want to head right up the road here in Portland to Chaval, but I have an exciting announcement actually. We had that goal of raising $10,000 additional in addition to Hannaford Hannaford and Bangor Savings Bank. We are already at $2,000 of our $10,000 private donor goal, and that's because of you guys. So please go to tastemaine.com if you have not already. The donate button to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund is right there on the homepage. Again, we have $2,000 worth of proof that some people out there can find that. So go to tastemaine.com, help out these incredible chefs, support these restaurants, and in doing so, support this beautiful state that we all love so much, or you wouldn't be watching right now. We know that. So again, let's cook up some dessert, shall we? Let's head right up the road to Chaval with chefs Ilma Lopez, who's the owner and operator there, and Hannaford's Supermarket's own chef, Dorene Mills. Ladies, excited to see what you're cooking up there.
Hi, I'm Dorene Mills, the chef for Hannaford Supermarkets, and I get the great opportunity to work with one of Portland's great chefs.
Hi, how are you, Dorene? Welcome to Chaval, Maine. My name is Ilma Lopez, co-owner of Chaval. I do all the pastries here. We're located in the West End in Portland. And for today, we're actually making a recipe for a restaurant release fund to raise money to save the restaurants in our state of Maine. So please go to tastemaine.com and follow the recipe along the lines. And we're going to do wild Maine blueberries and high bush blueberries, Napoleon. Dorene?
So you may think Napoleon sounds a little difficult. It could seem a little, scary for some people to try, but we're using ingredients that you can find in any of your Hannaford supermarkets to make this nice and easy. And one thing to start with is the puff pastry. Ilma, pastry chef, how do you work with puff pastry?
So puff pastry is one of those things that everyone feels so strangely about working at home because it's super hard, like you really don't know how to make it. But this one, honestly guys, you buy this one, it's ready to go. You just have to open it, cut it, bake it. 15 minutes in the oven, 375, ready to go.
And for the filling too, Ilma's, we're taking a couple easy ingredients to make a nice cream filling. So we're taking about half a cup of the whipped cream cheese that I brought up to room temperature at about 1 cup of Cool Whip. And again, too, don't worry about following along. You can go right online to tastemaine.com. We have the recipe there and ready for you. So I'll take those ingredients and I'm just gonna whisk them all together to create that nice filling. I can't wait to see how this all comes together, and it's such a nice, lovely, delicious summer dessert. It's gonna be great. Puff pastry may seem a little intimidating to some people, but the great thing is all these ingredients are ready to go and you can find them at any Hannaford supermarket. And we're working with the Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheet, and we'll take it from the pastry chef how to handle puff pastry.
Thank you. So Dorene, what we're going to do is we literally just open the package. The puff pastry comes already in that rectangle, almost like a square size, and it comes breaking in 3 pieces, full in 3 pieces. I will just cut along the lines. Check it out. Goes in the oven for 15 minutes. Close the oven. And now it's ready to go. Be careful, it's really hot, so we're just going to wait until it cools down.
And then with all the COVID-19 going on, you can see Ilma and I, we're playing in the kitchen today without our masks, but definitely this is what it's about, is taking into consideration what everything is going on right now with COVID-19 and trying to help support the local restaurants out there. So go to tastemaine.com. You can find everything you want to know about the Restaurant Relief Fund.
So for a blueberry compote, as we were discussing before, we're going to use the Wyman's Maine wild blueberries, and we're just going to cook them down. So for the jam, we're just going to do the wild Maine blueberries. Our sugar. And a touch of vanilla. Everything gets mixed. And you want to cook it down for about 10 to 15 minutes until it reduces. There we go. Then after reduce, you want to make sure that it cools down a little, and we're going to add our high bush fresh blueberries, all cut in half. And your jam is all ready to go. Right here, we're going to sample our Napoleon. We have our puff pastry. We will cut them in half to get those beautiful layers. Super easy to cut. You have all the layers, you have all the air in there. And then we put 1 layer on the bottom. We finish it up with our cold whipped cream cheese from Hannaford that Dorene kindly make for us. We have wild Maine blueberries, high bush blueberries, everything coming from the state of Maine. Put another layer on top. One of those things that you can layer as much as you want to. I particularly love the cream, so I'm a sucker for it, so I'm just going to give more on it. More blueberries. This is like a perfect, messy summer dessert.
I think the kids will really enjoy digging into that.
This is super easy. You can make it at home with the kids. It takes 20 minutes overall. We finish out with a little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of powdered sugar. And don't forget, it goes great with gimlets, wild Maine blueberries. It got to get great with lobsters. And Dorene is going to put the finishing touch, a little bit of sea salt, just to balance the sweetness and bring the fruit out.
Salt is your friend.
If you have any herbs at home, if you're having a garden, you can put thyme, basil, mint, anything to finish it up. Once again, please go to our tastemaine.com to follow the recipe. If you don't have the ingredients, heat up Hannaford, buy everything. It takes 20 minutes to make. You can make it for a party, you can make it for your kids, just that nice afternoon, staying at home type of thing. Please help us open back up. Thank you so much.
So, was there ever a better reason to have dessert before dinner? Because I'm thinking Blueberry Napoleon right before. So listen, we're going to wrap this dish up. Paolo's dropping his gnocchi in this salted water. What I did while you guys were watching the dessert was I put the lobster bodies into this sauce. I added a little bit of some red pepper flake. And so now this is the place where chefs argue, you see, because Paolo wants the hot chilies, and I want the Oh, look, it's a bird. It's, oh, the maple syrup, because I like the maple syrup, because, you know, this is the American thing. We want a little sweet in my sauce, right? And Paolo, would you put butter in this? Never.
No.
Yeah, but because Paolo's making the gnocchi and I'm making the sauce, butter. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. And then his gnocchi is going to go right in here. And now what I did earlier, well, nobody was looking, was I took those lobsters and I cleaned them up right here. I've got the claws, the tails, and the knuckles, and I'm literally just going to drop these in here. They're very close to being cooked, so I'm going to put these in, and I'm going to shut this whole thing off. This actually looks pretty good. I think I'm going to put that juice in there too, because this burner's I just can't turn it down enough.
Well, it looks good and it smells good.
All right.
It smells like Maine Summer in here.
Oh man, this looks, oh, those gnocchis.
Yeah. So can you guys believe we're already hopefully over our $2,000 goal?
Oh my God.
We need $8,000 more in this Maine Summer Classic episode to inch towards our $1 million goal by Christmas for these guys.
So we're on track then for where we need to be. Thanks to you guys. Thank you for going to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund at tastemaine.com. I hope that you made this dish and you didn't forget to put anything in, as I did, and everything made it into the pan. Paolo, we have enough here for about 7 people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you know that recipe, it says it's for 4? It's probably for 17.
You know, the problem is when we start to cook, it's like this.
This looks pretty good.
You know, and if you have left over, why not?
All right. So, chef, I don't have a spoon anymore. We got to plate this up now.
I want to remember something very very simple, but can be used at home. Even when they make like some mashed potato or something, you know, in the end of the night, the kids, they don't eat or whatever, they can use the next day with a couple eggs, a little bit of flour, and they can enjoy making gnocchi. Actually fun, and the kids, they can eat too, you know.
Have you folks talked to a lot of your chef friends? What are they going through right now?
They're going through a lot of things like us, you know, and we actually, as a chef, we like to play busy. Always, we always, as a chef, you have an hope that people come in. You are super busy. You deliver this food that the people enjoy and whatever. But it's hard time. You never know. It's like really hard. Yeah. It's really.
It's you know, this reminds me. I can't remember which famous politician said it. Maybe Winston Churchill. When you're going through hell, keep going. So that's what we're doing, because you know, and the one thing I think that people don't realize is that the way that we're serving now in hospitality, it couldn't be more, here, chef, it couldn't be more different than what we're used to. This doesn't feel like hospitality now when we're struggling. And so this was a nice little respite to actually get to cook some food, make something delicious, and you know, do something that's a little fun, because the restaurant business isn't that much fun right now. It's just too hard work, and it's too scary about what's going to happen on the other end.
Yeah. Well, like I said on that note, I mean, I'm inching over because if I don't, I won't get a taste, right, chef? Like I said, there are, in addition to Solo Italiano himself, there are 173 other restaurants that have applied for the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. I mean, one we're hoping to work with way up in the Allagash, folks, in northern Maine. Darlene Dumont, I'm calling you out from Two Rivers Lunch. Answer my email. We want to come feature you. You applied for the fund, but you also applied to be a part of this, which restaurateurs you can also do at tastemaine.com. You know, she let us know we're a family-owned restaurant. We've been in business for over 40 years. They're open 7 days a week, 364 days a year. Really the only place up there in the Allagash, but COVID closed them down in early March during their busiest time, the snowmobile season. So restaurants of all levels, of all types, from every county of Maine are struggling in their own way. And so again, tastemaine.com to help donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. And in the meantime, we're gonna spend 10 episodes like this, enjoying time with our favorite chef friends who I have the privilege of working with often, and that is an honor, but also eating some of this delicious food that they've made for us and that hopefully you've made at home for yourselves. While I go ahead and taste this, we did have a couple questions come in from online. So Chef Paolo, I'd love to ask you, while I dig into this blueberry and lobsters dinner, does it matter what potatoes are used in your gnocchi? Does that change the taste?
But more than change the taste, it change the difficult to make the gnocchi. You know, you want some potato is no yellow inside, because all the white they become more gluey, and they just release this glue and it becomes very hard. So a white paste potato, like Maine potato, russet from the farm. Sometimes there is also this. They look red outside, inside they white. You know, the Maine actually I had to spend a little bit just one thing. It's very simple. Yeah. What they do in Maine, the farmers, in a short time period is something unbelievable. Right. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of amazing, guys, for those of you who cook this at home, you're having a lovely Sunday feast, as well as me and my crew will enjoy. I promise I'll save you some, guys.
I want to say, Paolo, the thing I learned watching you was that you left the potatoes to cook and you let them sit in the water a very long time. And I think that that's important to know because I've never done this before. And these gnocchi are like velvet.
They velvet. They like velvet. Wonderful. So you have to understand how the potato acting, and you do it. You know. So because actually one thing is very fun to say. When you think your potato they ready, wait 5 minutes.
Oh,
maybe
that's
10.
a great tip from an expert kitchen. Did everyone get that? Yeah. Just when you think your potato's done, cook it a little longer. Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Well. I think we may have time for one more question. Oh, sure. Actually, can you use a different pasta with this lobster dish other than gnocchi?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
What's one of your favorite pastas?
Oh, I mean, you could make any kind of noodle. You could use fettuccine, angel hair. You could use, any kind of small pasta, anything. So, I mean, this gnocchi is delightful, but it's a little harder to make than taking a dried pasta out of the bag. Sure, yeah. So you could use that.
But it's fun also. You make all the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the blueberries for the dish? What is the difference between, and I'm a native Mainer, and I don't even know this, high-low and high bush and low bush.
So the wild blueberry, which we have in Maine, it's not the only wild blueberry, but that's a low bush blueberry, which is in fact wild. And people are often confused because they're, well, how can you cultivate? So what the farmers do is they create an environment where the wild blueberry bush can just continue to spread out. So that's the blueberry barrens. But a wild blueberry, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see they're not all the same color. Some of them are gray, and some of them are a little bit green, and some of them are blue. And and they're not actually very sweet. So a Maine blueberry, unlike a high bush blueberry, these are loaded with antioxidants. They're one of the most healthy superfoods on the planet. And the only thing wrong with a wild blueberry is that they don't last very long. So the secret to eating wild blueberries, don't try and eat them one at a time. Eat them with a spoon.
Just eat them quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta eat them with a spoon. Yeah.
Well, again, I was born and raised in Maine, and it's funny that lobsters and blueberries, I find, are one of those things that they're special no matter when you have them, right? So I'm born and raised in Maine, but every time I have a lobster dinner, it's a special occasion. And like I said, I had gifted from my parents Maine lobsters for my birthday. My boyfriend was nice to cook them up, but that was way back in Maine, and I haven't had lobster since. So this is truly a special treat, and it's delicious. Hopefully you've cooked along at home and we're able to enjoy this as well, but this is incredible. And I do believe we may be able to have Ilma join us. If not, though, I first want to note, again, this is important because restaurants are suffering, right? And as I mentioned, we've been working hard to develop this show to help you guys out, but a lot of the help needed to come sooner. And on that note, we have lost a number of restaurants across Maine already. So we just want to share a little bit and let you guys know one of your favorite places may be on this list. This is the exact reasoning to go to tastemaine.com. Hit that donate button, give to the Maine Restaurant Relief Funds, because again, some we've already lost, some have had to close their doors, some can't afford the restock, reopen, rehire, revitalization costs that come with restarting your business in the face of this pandemic. And again, that's what we're here to do. So we're sorry to all those restaurants we've lost. We're doing our best to save the others, right? So on that note, hopefully you're all enjoying your Blueberries Napoleon dessert, and we have special guest Ilma Lopez, who is joining us right now. Ilma, are you there? Ilma? Ilma's talking to her children, I can tell. But we're gonna check in with her in a second. Once her kids get all buckled in, it looks like. And again, I just want to note 174 restaurants from 16 counties, that's all our counties, folks, from Maine, have already applied to the fund. We are just launching this show tonight, and that's the kind of help and the kind of support that is needed out there. So let's cut to Ilma. Ilma, are you with me? Ilma. Is she with me?
She's there.
Hi, Ilma. Are you with me? Hi there, can you hear me, Chef Ilma? All right, technical difficulties on her, and that's okay. Again, 174 restaurants, including all 16 counties. We have Ann Gonzalez from St. George River Cafe in Warren. Ann will get in touch with you. We appreciate the support and wanting to be involved with the show itself. And again, no, we may not be able to get Ilma. That's okay. Again, all right. Sounds like Ilma might not be able to join in, but hopefully you've made her delicious dessert. And I just got word that we have now raised $3,000 tonight,
That's
folks.
great. That's awesome. That's
Yay! So again, $7,000 from Hannaford Supermarket, our presenting sponsor, $3,000 from Bangor Savings Bank, our other presenting sponsor. Thank you guys. And now $3,000 more from all of you at home. We couldn't do it without you, and we appreciate it. So thank you. That's $13,000 in the very right direction, and we're excited. Again, we've lost some restaurants, but also, oh, it sounds like I have Ilma.
So we've now raised $3,000 tonight. Oh, yay! So again, $7,000 from Hannaford Supermarket, our presenting sponsor, $3,000 from Bangor Savings Bank, our other presenting sponsor. Thank you guys. And now $3,000 more from all of you at home. We couldn't do it without you, and we appreciate it. So thank you. That's $13,000 in the very right direction, and we're excited. Again, we've lost some restaurants, but also, oh, it sounds like I have Ilma. So we've now raised $3,000 tonight.
We lost one of our dearest partners. It's been a big season of loss for a lot of folks, and we wanted to dedicate this episode specifically to him, Eric Baxter. We couldn't have made this all happen without you. So without further ado, a quick dedication to Eric Baxter. Thank you. I'm surprised I have any of this left. So thank you so much. Again, thank you to Eric Baxter. We appreciate the support in making this whole show happen because it is so important. We have lost restaurants along the way, but we had some fun tonight, didn't we? Making Maine Summer classics. Hope you all are enjoying the end of your summer, but enjoy this lobster and blueberry dinner. Delicious. Sip it with a Blueberry Sage Gimlet, side of tartines, and then make that Blueberries Napoleon for dessert. You will not be sorry. So don't worry if you weren't able to cook along with our chefs tonight at tastemaine.com. You can not only donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, but the recipes for all 10 episodes we're going to be airing between now and Christmas will be available there at any time. So go ahead, grab those recipes, enjoy, but remember what it's all about, supporting these guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important because, we don't know, again, I feel like I'm repetitive, but we don't know what is going to happen this winter. Right. We have 34 employees in Solo, and I want to sustain them. If for some reason doesn't come the people enough, and I have to close more days or who knows what,
Right.
it's going to be a disaster. But not only for Solo Italiano, for everybody.
That trickle down
You know.
effect, right?
Yes, it's a, you know,
Yeah.
it's a, we need to pay these people, we need to pay them good, we need to take this economy again going.
Right.
You
And
know,
again, you're also buying product from Maine producers, fishermen, farmers, all that.
Yes, it's a real, you know,
It's all
it's like
connected.
a play domino.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, usually when we get together to cook like this, it's a joyous thing, and there is certainly an element of fun and joy in this, but there's a very heavy spot in my heart, and I'm sure in yours as well, Paolo, because you know, my restaurant, we employ 52 people usually, and now, you know, we're at 12 in Portland and 3 in my restaurant in South Portland. And the future of this restaurant economy isn't just about the restaurants. It's about all of the people. It's about the people who we buy produce from. It's about the people who we buy meat from. It's about the farmers where we get our nasturtium flowers, you know, where we get our basil, our tomatoes. And it's, I have to say, the people of Maine have been incredibly generous so far with their
Help.
Yeah, they've come to the restaurants, they've supported us, they've bought gift cards. And I've never really been one who's very good at asking for help, but our industry really needs it. It's a tough situation, and we're really a backbone industry in Maine.
Also,
so I really hope that you've enjoyed our show. I hope you've enjoyed what we cooked here and that you'll make it. But even more so, I hope that you'll be inspired to go to tastemaine.com and help out with the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund so that we can see you in the spring and next summer after we get past COVID. So I wish you all well. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Remember, folks, fall and winter are coming. We are blessed with these beautiful days right now where it's a joy to eat outside, but these restaurants need to survive through all seasons, right? So tastemaine.com to donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, and come back and join us on September 13th when we'll be highlighting a whole new set of incredible, talented Maine chefs from around the state with our theme, Comfort Food. So again, mark your calendars for September 13th. We'll be back again to create some more wonderful dishes from around the state. But again, big thanks to David of David's Restaurants. Big thanks to Paolo from Solo Italiano.
Thank you
Charlie
very
and
much.
Kirk up at the Hichborn in Stockton Springs. Ilma at Chaval, and Dorene for helping us out with our big presenting sponsor, Hannaford. Thank you, Dorene, for representing them. Cook all these dishes at home. Enjoy the time and family with your friends. Be safe, be well fed. And go to tastemaine.com, support these businesses, support us, and have some fun cooking some meals from these great kitchen and from these incredible minds around the state. What, again, a privilege to get recipes from these minds. So enjoy the dishes at home, but make sure you remember how amazing it is to go experience these dishes firsthand at these restaurants, and that cannot happen until we raise some more money for them, for all of Maine's restaurant industry. Tastemaine.com, folks, and we'll see you again on September 13th. Looking forward to it. Happy Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. Buona cena.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito.
Restaurant industry is a super complicated industry that gets a little piece of every single person to be able to work. So thank you for supporting us, and we need your help.
Resiliency is survival.
Follow everything that we're trying to do to get every single business in the state of Maine open.
By supporting us, you support the future, you support our employees. Thanks.